NBA legends Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal are coming under fire for things that they said about the Breonna Taylor case. Even though, in my opinion, they didn't say anything wrong and it was perfectly logical, but that's still not acceptable. You see, when talking about the Breonna Taylor decision, where they decided not to charge the cops with murder, this is what Charles Barkley said. It's bad a young lady lost her life, but we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I said, even though I'm really sad she lost her life, I don't think this is something we can put in the same situation as George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery, which is something that is completely logical. And then Shaquille O'Neal agreed with him. I have to agree with Charles, this one is sort of lumped in. You have to get a warrant signed, and some states do allow no-knock warrants, and everyone was asking for murder charges. When you talk about murder, you have to show intent. So here we have Shaquille O'Neal preaching about the law to people who don't really know about it. There was no intent. There was no murder. I've been debating making a video about Breonna Taylor for quite some time. I don't think I'm actually going to do it. I just want to highlight what I think is really important about the case. The police did have a legally obtained no-knock warrant. I think no-knock warrants are stupid, and I'm glad they're being gotten rid of because it's a horrible idea. But it was legal, and they had one. They decided to execute that warrant, and according to the police, they even announced themselves. Now, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend and neighbors say they didn't, but even if they didn't, again, that's irrelevant because they had a no-knock warrant. That means you don't have to announce yourself. So the cops essentially break into the apartment, the boyfriend thinks it's a robber, and so he decides to shoot at them, which is perfectly logical. Like, if you hear your door being knocked in the middle of the night, you're going to think that maybe someone's breaking into your house. So he shoots at the cops, one cop gets shot, and the cops do what is logical to them, they fire back. It was a horrible situation for everybody that could have been alleviated if no-knock warrants weren't a thing, and if they didn't execute the warrant in the middle of the night. I understand maybe they were trying to catch someone red-handed, but that didn't happen, and what did happen was Breonna Taylor's death, which is a tragic thing. But you can't claim that the police should have been charged with murder. That is a huge stretch. Barkley didn't stop there. He also talked about this stupid idea that is defunding the police. And this is what he said.
Fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't gonna defund the cops? White neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just gonna leave, who are black people supposed to call? Ghostbusters when we have crime in our neighborhoods?
In response to all of this, Charles Barkley has been trending on Twitter, but not for a good reason. He's essentially being attacked because of what he came out and said, which I do find fairly amusing. You have someone like LeBron James, who he can be completely political, he can say the most absurd things on a frequent basis, and it's fine, but when you have someone like Charles Barkley come out and say something completely logical, well, that's just not acceptable. And it's not really surprising, seeing how far left the NBA has been moving politically. So much so that 38% of sports fans say they're watching fewer NBA games, and 38% of respondents, when polled, said the league has become too political. So in essence, if you're in the NBA in any capacity, it's okay to be political as long as you agree with one political side. If you agree with the other side, or even somewhat agree with the other side, because Charles Barkley is no Republican, then that's not acceptable. Let me reiterate for the last time. Breonna Taylor's death was a tragedy, but it was not murder. If you think it was, I'm sorry, you need to look at the facts of the case more intently. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.